Hello guys, how are you doing? Casper here with a little video, an update on what I think is the silent, there it is, the silent metal in this case here. No one is talking about, and I think potentially here very soon could be triggering a big breakout with a $500 measured move and potentially higher, of course. But again. Um, Before we go into that, I also want to give you a quick update on silver and uranium. These two I have, high interest in right now. They are looking absolutely fantastic. And we could see some big moves here in the very near future. We are seeing that in uranium already. Silver moved, started to move in April, at least the miners did. And yeah, we will see where it is. So if you'd like to subscribe, guys, or comment, thumbs up, all that good stuff, please do so. I mean, highly recommend your support. If you like the content, let me know, and if you don't, also let me know. That's okay. That's okay. So before we go into the metal that I think is again the silent play right now, quick update on silver and why silver is, in my opinion, extremely close to a quick leg, like to $40-50 very easily. Silver, as you know, right now sits at $32. But before we talk about the 32 and why that is important, 32 and a half actually, I want to show you that ever since we broke 26, boom, there it is, $26, we have been extremely bullish on silver and the miners on the Substack. The reason is that 26 was such a big level to clear is, and now we have to go to the weekly, was basically we were clearing a huge resistance rail or trend line here coming from the 2011 highs, 2020. Then you had a lot of stuff going on there. You can see it if we zoom in. You can see we had a lot of grinding right here all the way down and then finally breaking out, retesting, consolidating, breaking out. So that's one reason why 26 was that important. Going in here, you can also see this is the peak of 2011. And what we're seeing is we had that consolidation down here from 2010 and then two very quick spikes to 50. And then we come down, hit 26, rally, lower high, 26, rally, lower high, 26, breakdown. So 26 back then was when we entered a severe bear market for silver. So it makes sense that you have 26 as the big level, 10 years later, 13 years later, breaking out of 26 finally, you're in a bull market again. So that's the reason why 26 is so important. Zooming in here, we can go into the recent price action. Basically, ever since the miners started to move here was back in April. That was when the miners broke out. There were a lot of good stuff happening. We rallied to 32 and a half, and we're actually almost there again. By the way, I want to show you something amazing here. I didn't plan to show you this fractal, but I'll do it. If you take this fractal alone, it goes back to May of 2024. We will copy. And then basically what we're seeing here, now we're zooming out for this 4-year price action. You can see here, again, this is done somewhat quickly, but I hope you can see that this is very identical. So again, you can see that the price movements, well, on and fractals on various time frames are basically happening all over and over again. You can see the price action here. It's very dead on, and that is just when we are breaking here. That is exactly where I think we are today in this half a year fractal. And this, in my opinion, when we break, will be the final level to clear before we go to 50 very quickly. You can see here again, we peaked here, 32 and a half, came down long. We had like a medium Trend line here, breaking out, testing up back to 32 twice, testing again, and now we're coming up here for the fourth time. And in my opinion, when we break, boom, it's going to be a very, very quick, rapid move. Um, so this to me seems like the last hurdle. Seems like, again, nothing is certain, but to me it seems like this is the last hurdle for silver to get to $50. Also, why is 32.5 important, you may say? Then we have to go back 50 years or 45 years back to 1980. Same thing applies here. You can see 32.5, again, maybe 33, but again, you can see the same thing here. We peaked at 50, we came down, and we started to bounce at that level. Lower highs, again, roughly 32, 33, breakdown, huge bear market after that. Therefore, in my opinion, the last hurdle is roughly 32.5, maybe 33, depending on how you measure. But 32 seems to be, the sweet spot here. And yeah, so silver, in my opinion, very close, very, very close to complete the handle of the 50-year cup and handle pattern. This is what will give you a lot of upside in the miners when we finally break that 32. Again, we can also dive into the whole gold to silver ratio, which at that point in time should come down really hard, again, boosting the miners across the board. So very, very big moment here for silver sitting at 32. It's quite exciting, to be honest. I don't think we will have the weekly close above that 32.5 because, some people will not allow it. But I think within the next few weeks, we should see that clear, and you will start to see short covering very quickly. So that's silver. Quick update on silver. Then we have to look into uranium because we will not look into the miners, the ETFs. I want to show you a ratio. And if you follow me, on X or on Substack even, where we follow this roughly daily, at least a few times per week, is, in my opinion, one of the most bullish technical breakouts I have seen in a very, very long time. Basically completing a 10-year Vikov, well, 8 years, but anyways, 8 years Vikov accumulation pattern where this is the final stage before we will rally big time. We're going to coil here to some degree, and then we're going to go higher. You can look it up yourself. There are two patterns. This is one of them. This is basically the number one, and the number two is a bit different, but this is the number one Wyckoff. And what we had this week is actually quite amazing. It's really, really amazing because I have been watching the 0.37 roughly, right? Roughly, but that horizontal level in my book confirms the breakout of this pattern, meaning miners in general, uranium miners to be more specific, is going to heavily, heavily outperform the uranium spot price, which I also think is going to come a lot higher. But we will have miners outperform that movement in the spot price by a huge margin. And also here you can start you can also start here to do trend lines and all that good stuff, but still we are breaking out here. There's no question about it. The daily here, I would assume all, the moving averages is all the way down here. If and when we start to move here, all the moving averages is just gonna come up, push up the ratio, meaning uranium miners is going to be doing wonderfully. Wonderfully for the next, again, timing wise is difficult, but if we are to do some sort of projection here, depending on, again, very difficult for the next 3 years is my, yeah, 3 years probably. Uranium miners should be doing really, really well, climbing all the way back to these highs here. That's how I see it. Again, very early stuff here, so don't expect this to to happen, overnight. But beautiful stuff in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but this to me is one of the biggest bullish technical signals that I've seen in uranium for quite a while. There were over here in 2020, 2021, where we had a lot of outperformance by the miners. Everyone was in uranium, and then we peaked in 2021, and now we've come down. And I think we are about to do the exact same here again, but with the caveat that the pattern is complete. So instead of stalling here and coming down again, we should resolve to the upside. So absolutely incredible. I am bullish. My Substack is bullish. Posting there, charts. We nailed the LEU entrance, for instance. The Mega Uranium also, we kind of nailed. It was just, there was some pretty good setups, even though um, it didn't fit all of our criteria. There were definitely some almost grade A setups that we took advantage of, and beautiful. So uranium, by all means, I am bullish across the board. There's nothing really right now that says, "Oh, this is at the peaks or anything." So silver, uranium, I dig it. I like it. So this is what the video is supposed to be, but I actually talked a little bit more than I would have liked. Anyways, coffee. Enjoy it while you can because it's gonna be expensive. So yeah, cool. You guessed it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. Platinum. I think platinum here is, and rightfully so, a metal no one is talking about. It hasn't done anything. Basically, it hasn't done anything for like more than a decade. You know, if you count all the way back to here. We did see that blow off top to the downside during the March 2020, just like everything else, basically. End of this whole macro, going back to the highs of 2008. 12 years, we rallied, and then we went sideways for 4 painful years. Very painful. However, there is some order to the madness, and that is, we have, by the way, look at this. We have a mini blow off top here, coming down, bear flagging. That's usually, doesn't matter what time frame that is on. If you have like a textbook bear flag after a very big rally, be warned, that is very often the end of that move, and you're definitely going into a long dry spell. But with that said, I want to show you one of actually a very strong pattern here. I want to switch to the Heikin-Ashi because maybe you can see it a little bit differently. But this to me is actually the exact same pattern as we saw on gold, trying to break through that $2,070 level. The only difference is that instead of having a horizontal, basically textbook horizontal neckline, in this case, we have a little bit of an angle on, right? You can see it there. So we have like a 15-degree angle or whatever it is. But what happened below the neckline is basically the exact same. Mega inverted head and shoulders. We tagged the fourth time. Bull flag. Boom. We are going to break here, in my opinion. Getting above here, which is $1,050, we will break the neckline and platinum will rally. If you don't believe me when it comes to that this is actually the same as gold, you can see here, we will quickly go to gold. By the way, gold has just done so well ever since. It's just so beautiful. Almost makes you cry, really. But same thing here again. We have the neckline going across there. You have the inverted head and shoulders pattern with a right shoulder and with a bull flag. It's there, right in front of your eyes. In my opinion, again, I could be wrong, but to me, platinum is at the end stage of a 4-year correction, whatever you want to call it, and getting north of that $1,050 level should propel platinum way higher. And remember, platinum is a tiny, 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 tiny sector, so it could go really quickly. And there's not many stocks to pick from. So again, it's going to be a lot more difficult to pick the right ones compared to silver and uranium. And even uranium and silver in itself is also very difficult to be a part of. But platinum is way harder because it's such a tiny sector. But we can do some simple measured moves here. Initially, we can take the momentum that was built from the blow off top to the downside to its peak. And then we can add it on top here, again, pointing to, in this case, 2,200 to reach the upper end of this green channel, which also aligns roughly with the peak from 2008. Beautiful. But also the first major target will be the inverted head and shoulders, the distance measured from the head roughly to the high there. 50% move on top of the breakout, calling for, there it is, 1,000 $550 plus minus, that is the measured move of this pattern alone the past 4 years. And then when you hit that, you start to project higher. And yeah, overall, platinum, again, you could start to position yourself now here in the very few miners that there is. We are trying to do it again on the stock stack, but again, very difficult to get this right here, in my opinion, especially the timing of it. I think the stocks, I think we have a good idea of which one is going to move. But again, the timing wise, when they move is very, very difficult. Even though PLG had a great day yesterday, suddenly popping like 20%. So yeah, that is my case for platinum and why platinum will be, not right now, but very soon, a topic that people will talk about, but right now has been forgotten by the masses. We shall see. Again, the trigger for this idea or this setup is above 1,050. At that point in time, you trigger the neckline and you have the measured move to 1,550. Ultimately, getting to the upper end of the green channel, you're talking 2K roughly. So, platinum, I am very interested. It again, we haven't triggered, but when we do, I think it will be extraordinary, just like gold. Have a great day, guys. My opinion. Let me know yours in the comments below. Have a great day, guys. Bye.